Yeah, we're opening up with Marshall. Our guys started our prep last week. Coaches kind of started on Thursday. Players kind of started on Friday. So we've gotten 2 practices in towards that goal of playing these guys. I'm excited for a home opener. We get sometimes the neutral site, sometimes on the road, but this home opener, I know I'm excited. I'm excited about this weather for our fans. Looks like it's going to be a great weather day in terms of not catching some of the August, September heat we get sometimes. A lot of respect for this head coach and his program. When I look at the similarities between, he's been a defensive coordinator for a long time, a very successful one, Coach Tony Gibson. He's also coming kind of home to West Virginia, and he's got a staff that's very passionate about Marshall. When someone is passionate about the place they coach, they're going to do a tremendous job, and his staff reflects that. Marshall's got a tremendous history of a lot of good football players, a lot of good teams. To look and see what they did last year in a really extremely tough Sun Belt conference, it kind of speaks for itself. So our guys are excited to go play. We always say the game's about us, and it'll always be about how we play, and we got to go play our best. So that's the next step for us.
Raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone around to you.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned you guys have started prep for Marshall. With a brand new head football coach, and you look at the roster like everybody else, but it's even more turnover. It's a brand new football team. What are you preparing for? How do you go about preparing your football team for a team we don't know much about?
You start with yourself, right? You prepare yourself by how you run to the ball, how you strike people, how you move people, how you run the ball, throw the ball, don't turn it over. A lot of sloppiness in first games, penalties. So it starts with that. So you're asking about the opponent. The opponent is us, and it's going to be us every week this year. It is important that we know what they do, and sometimes that's less information than others. They've got an interesting staff makeup of guys from all over. They got an interesting roster makeup of guys from all over, some of which they couldn't control because they had a lot of guys leave after the head coach left. So, we've got individuals from all over. I don't know that I've ever seen a roster that when we write on the depth chart transfer, it's 3 deep transfer, 4 deep transfer, 3 deep transfer, all these spots, a lot of transfers. But that's more and more evident all over. Probably the first games all over the country this weekend will be a lot of guys figuring out, like, well, who's in that spot? Who's in that spot? Nobody has a clue who's in those spots. The less teams are in the spotlight, the less you'll know. But, again, it'll be probably more of an adjustment from the kickoff to the first quarter than most games, but it'll also be about us.
Yeah, we'll have a chance to talk to Jordan Hall here in a little bit. What did you learn about him last year as he fought through those injuries, and just what has he done in the lead up to this season?
Yeah, his resiliency pops out at me. When we talk about our DNA traits, one of them is always that. He embodies that. It was this time last year that we found out he had a tibia basically fracture and had to put a rod in. And then right after we got a rod put in his lower leg, he found out he had to have one in the other leg. So it really set him back. And it wasn't just the injury that set him back. It was the combination of both those happening at one time. You can usually get by with one leg maybe not being 100%, but when you're dealing with both legs, he deals with a lot of pressure and force when you play that position. You're taking on 2 guys, 25% of your snaps. So there's a lot of pressure on those double teams. And Jordan's just number one, he's bright. Number 2, he cares. He's passionate, and he plays really hard.
Coach, you mentioned the depth chart. I know we don't have one for our purposes. How fluid is that, and how much competition is there still within the team?
I was telling guys just the other day, there's 3 more games before the game, one today, one tomorrow, and one the next day, and those opportunities are really valuable in terms of where guys rep, where guys will play. We've got position battles that they don't go on till the game; they go on through the whole year, because I value Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Thursday of practice weeks probably more than some game reps. So we've got a lot of good battles going on, and we have a saying around our place: if you're going to play winning football, we want to play you. So we're looking to have as many guys as possible above that winning threshold line, and that's the goal, to play all those guys.
Yeah, Kirby, you mentioned Jordan, but how would you kind of assess the defensive line going into the first game with so many new faces, guys taking on bigger roles, and what can you learn about that group from actually playing in a game as opposed to a practice or a scrimmage?
I don't think you necessarily learn more in a game with those guys. I get to see them in action. It's their action in a practice is very similar to their action in a game, where that might be different for a receiver or a defensive back who has to tackle or not. These guys, they're going to war every day. So striking blocks, getting off blocks, run to the ball. I mean, who you are is on your tape. That's your resume. It speaks for itself. We show our guys every day in the team meeting, this is who you are, because this is what you put on tape, especially at the defensive line and offensive line positions. So I don't expect it to go out in the game and change all of a sudden. Like the guys with good characteristics, good habits in practice, it'll show up that way in the game. So what I see today will be similar to what I get an opportunity to see Saturday. And we'll measure both those, and we'll keep advancing and trying to get more guys to play winning football.
Kirby, to your left, since this team gathered for the first time, however many months ago that was, what position group has come the farthest?
I can't pick one. I mean, you try to get me to single somebody out and say, oh, this group's just been unbelievable. They've all gotten better. And everybody needs to improve still. I can't single one group out because there's too many days involved in that to single one group. So this group has moved the furthest. I can't pinpoint. There's individuals that have gotten better, and there's individuals that still need to get better. But as a whole, I'm pleased with where our group is.
Kirby, Trevor Etienne and Nate carried the load last year in terms of carries with Trevor not here anymore. After Nate, what have you seen at the running back spot?
Great group, man. Group by committee. They've worked really hard. They're going to continue to work. They all have different traits with size, speed, protection, catch the ball out of the backfield. I mean, you're looking for a complete back that can do them all. We've got a good group that's really been competitive, and I look forward to seeing all those guys go out and play.
Hey, Kirby, I know about a week ago you said Brett Thorson is kicking, but you're still not 100% if he's going to be in the game with Marshall. Any updates on him?
Can be in the game with. Oh, well, I thought you were. Yeah, I'm sorry. When you said Marshall, I was trying to figure out who Marshall. You're talking about who we're playing. I thought you were talking about a snapper or holder or kicker, and I'm like, no. He has continued to kick, and I don't know that he's going to be kicking in this game. That hasn't been decided yet. He has punted more reps each day, and he's gone up. But in terms of what I call live kicking, which we don't really ever kick live, meaning we don't hit our kickers, but he has not done a lot of live kicking. So it'll be one of those times, one of those things we decide by the end of the week.
When we met with Mike and Glenn, they reiterated the importance of stopping the run, running the ball as improvements from last season. Now that we've gotten through fall camp, how do you feel about, or what is your confidence level when it comes to improving in those two areas? And this might be redundant from previous years, but what metrics do you use to determine whether those two areas are successful?
Yeah, I measure how we play in games of, throughout the year, but the SEC schedule, because there's a consistency in the SEC schedule. Our out-of-conference schedule changes every year, who we play when, where do we play them, was it on the road, crowd noise, was it neutral site, all those things. So the most consistent thing on our schedule is our SEC schedule, and we try to measure at the end of the year based on that. There's metrics for every game, right? Yards per carry is a good metric. Sometimes yards per carry can be skewed. If it's 3rd and 15 and you run for 9, is that success? Probably not, because you didn't get a first down. So for us, it'll vary based on the way we measure it, but it is important. And to the level of confidence, I think there's no complete confidence on where your run game and your run stopping is until you play somebody else, because each and every day we go out the field, somebody wins and loses a play. So there's confidence gained, confidence lost when you're against each other.
Hi, Kirby. Talking with Cash a little bit after this, what in your mind is the next step for him?
Leadership has been really on his forefront. He and I talked about his return would be his confidence, his experience, his leadership and wisdom he can impart on the running back room with 3 guys that are sophomores and one that's a true freshman and a transfer. Like, he brings a lot of continuity back in that room, and he just does it the right way. The guy gives you everything he's got every day, and he embodies our fire, passion, energy the way he practices.
Hey, Coach, with a lot of new pieces on offense this year, how would you measure what would be a successful day for your offense on Saturday?
You know, hitting goals. We have some really lofty goals. You know, we go in and we say, okay, we got about 15, 20 goals up there that we look for, and if we hit those goals, then we usually played well. And if we don't, then we usually didn't. There's run goals involved in that, third down conversion rate, red zone rate, yards per completion rate, turnover rate, penalty rate. There's a lot that goes into that. So I can't simply say just win the game. There's more to it than that. And we'll look at it, and we'll see where we are, and then we'll figure out what we need to work on.
Kirby, obviously, the SEC finally adopted the 90-game schedule last Thursday. What was your reaction to that, and what do you want those 3 annual rivalries to be determined by, like purely rivalry or some sort of competitive balance involved too?
Yeah, I was no real shock one way or the other. I had gone through the thoughts and processes and the outcomes that would come way back in Destin if it happened, and if it didn't happen, it was just a matter of the decision to come forward. And to be honest with you, when it came forward, I've been so into Marshall, I literally haven't. It has no effect on this year. And I don't think people really understand coaches. The way they work is you're focused on what's important now. Like, what are we dealing with now? That is not of importance to me right now. And there's I don't have any control over the outcome of it. As far as the balance of the 3 games or the preference of the 3 games, I don't really have a preference on that. I do think traditional rivalries are important. I enjoy those, having been a traditionalist and grew up in the state of Georgia, but I don't, no one way or the other. You got to win the games you play, man.
Kirby, do you go into this? Kirby, do you go into this game with a plan for a number of quarterbacks that you would like to play, or would you be willing to share that with us?
That would be very presumptuous to say that. I don't do the assumptions. I don't get into the forecasting. I get into what do we have to do on each play to be successful. And that's basically what we're thinking about right now, is how we can be successful offense, defense, special teams in this game.
Yeah, you mentioned competitions going through the first game into the season. What have you seen from those guys competing at guard, where you've got Calhoun, Gaston, Micah, all those guys, and do you anticipate potentially rotating those guys on a regular basis once the season gets going?
Yeah, those guys have really been competitive and gotten better. We've had young players show up, play well. We've had old players have days they play well. They've all had some nicks and bumps and bruises. Some guys have missed a little time in that guard competition. But, it's continuous, right? It's not even about this game and how we're going to play them this game. It's about today and how we're going to play them today and how we're going to practice them and keep getting guys better.
Kirby, can I get your thoughts on when you decide to play a freshman, especially early in the year, game 1? Are you excited that you have a guy who can step in that early, a standout player, or are you a little more disappointed that you don't have a guy like an upperclassman who locked that spot down? And what do you tell the freshmen going into that?
Yeah, it's more is what it is for me. It's it's like the glass of water. Is it half full, half empty? It's just a half glass of water. It's not half empty or half full. I don't look at it and say the freshman's there. Is that disappointing? Is that promising? I look at it as what it is. Who's the best player that gives us the best chance to win, that can go in and be the most effective? That's simply it. And what do we tell them? Tell them to go do what they did in practice, because if they're out there for us, they earned it. They didn't get anything handed to them. They go out, they earn it, they compete, they play the best, and that's the guys that get to play.
Dillon Bell's a guy that's been here for a while at this point. What do you feel like his role is in that room, and just what he brings to that room on a daily basis?
He brings size, toughness, and experience. He can play every position across the board. He lines up at X, Z, and F, and he's been a back. He catches the ball well out of the backfield. He's extremely tough, knowledgeable, good special teams player. But more than anything, he embodies what we want at that position, because he's got ability to run after the catch, and he's got vertical speed, great route runner. Dillon's an all-around really good football player.
Coach, everybody knows what Colbie Young situation was last year. He's now back. How has he maybe appreciated this second chance he's now getting, and how has he been so far in camp and practice?
He's been a tremendous leader throughout. He's practiced with toughness. He understands that position in that room really well. I think Coley and Bobo have done a great job with him of putting him in positions to be successful. He's one of the leaders in the group quietly. Just puts in really good days of work every day, really physical, can block. I mean, just incredibly, and has been a vertical jump ball, really good player for us in camp. So I want him to keep doing what he's doing and continue to lead that young group of guys in that room.
Coach, up here, when you talk about leadership, what is that number one trait or that priority trait that you want to see out of those guys as you have a roster that has a lot of new faces, a lot of new guys coming in with a certain amount of returning veterans on this team?
Yeah, number one trait of a leader for us is not worrying about what other people think about you and holding people to a standard of excellence that has been set around here in terms of practice, the behavior in meetings, the attitude to hard work, the commitment to like lifting and running and doing things the hard way. If you have a commitment to that and you embody it yourself, then you can be a good leader here.
Kirby, how has Zachariah Branch adapted to the Georgia way, and would you see him? Is there moments you had to see in person, his athleticism, his it factor that you just really can't resonate on tape when you're scouting or viewing from afar?
He's been really high energy, enthusiastic guy, loves football, enjoys practicing each day. He talked about that like he wants to be part of a group that loves to compete and go at it every day and bring their best. I mean, the guy loves football. He loves working out. He loves taking care of his body. So very pleased with the energy he's brought to our team, enthusiasm, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play because he's had a good camp, and I think he really enjoys football, and those are the kind of guys that really enjoy Saturdays.
Yeah, you just talked about Colbie and Zachariah. Do you feel like this is one of the deeper receiver rooms you've had, and just in terms of guys who can line up in multiple spots, play different positions, that kind of stuff?
It's hard to compare it from year to year. Certainly guys in that room that are contributing in many areas. Like when we look across special teams and we rank players on our team just based on special teams, there's more receivers in the top 85 players than there has been in the past because there's some good football players in there. But I'm proud of the group, of what they've done so far, and I think they want to go out and prove it and put it on tape.
Yeah, Coach, I feel like the scouting world and the world at large kind of figured out Mike Green was a great football player last year. Is there anybody on this Marshall roster that you've had to make your football team aware of or that we should know about?
Well, I think when you look across the board, there's so many different guys coming in and going out. It's really hard. You start with the quarterback position where they may play multiple guys. They've got, when you look at their history, they've got guys that can run it, guys that can throw it. Defensively, they've had really good players come through there. And, not to single anybody out, I just think they've got really good football players. When you look across at the backs they've got coming in and you watch the tape of the backs of where they played the year before, tremendous group of backs.
Coach, I know last season you kind of lamented the fact that there weren't enough reps for the 2s and 3s at the end of some games that, everybody outside thought might be blowouts. What's your message to those first guys out there about you're doing this for your brother so he can get on the field and play?
Yeah, focus is on, first impressions, and the first impression of this team is how we play in this game. And, if you can play winning football and we think you're a really good player, we're going to try to play guys in this game regardless of where they sit on the depth chart. We want to play the guys that can be rewarded and play winning football consistently. But they do that by what they do in practice. It's not about 2s and 3s. It's about our ones going out competing and playing really well, and we'll see how it goes.
Time for one more question if anyone has one. Okay, Coach, thank you.
Thanks.